I can't hear you, Tom. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
No, I can't hear you. Maybe let's see if Andrew, can you say something, please? Let's see if I hear you.
Yes, I can. We can hear you, Coach.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Tom is not coming through. I think he's just going to run this thing through the text, Joanne, and people will ask questions from there. So I think we got someone ready to go.
Okay.
I think that's me that's going to go. Kareem Copeland from the Washington Post. Hey, Juwan, how you doing?
I'm good, Kareem.
Thanks for carving out the time and congratulations on the season. Want to ask a little bit about yourself. Been a kind of a little bit of crazy year since I was there last February. And I just want to ask about yourself. What are some of the biggest lessons you think you've learned over this past year, as coach and as the head of this program?
Yeah, that's a great question. Reflecting on what I've learned, I've learned that, learning that leadership is really important. And there's a lot of folks, players, student athletes, staff, extended staff members are looking for me for a lot of answers and more, and to give them direction. And I'm learning, that as I go, to being this is my second year in. I remember, my role with the Miami, I was more the guy that was sitting in the weeds, just listening and doing a lot of listening instead of doing a lot of talking. And you got to be ready to make decisions, and some of them are tough decisions. And you also, at the end of the day, have to be comfortable with the end result of the decision. I'm not saying you're going to always get it right. Then also what else I learned is when you talk about basketball, time management, managing a 40-minute ball game. Now this is my second year, and the second year is almost coming to an end, hopefully in another 4 weeks. I always reflect back each and every year on what I can do better, because I have that growth mindset mentality. And it's always going to stay that way, because I'm humble enough to know that, I'm not, there's always room for improvement. Another thing that I've learned too is that with the pandemic, I've got to always keep, health and safety number one, especially when yes, I have my own kid that's on the team, but, I'm responsible for 16 others. And, I got to keep, reminding everyone about, basketball, that's what we're here for. We want to play a game, we want to play a season. But we got to follow the proper protocols and the proper guidelines on what the CDC, what the University of Michigan medicine is telling us, and following those rules and sacrificing to make this all work. And we're learning a lot about each other, about what discipline and what sacrificing truly is. So it's been an interesting year. If someone would have said, if you'll be a head coach and your first year, your season will be cut short, and then your second year, your season will start not as normal as you plan it to, and then to try to continue to keep having a season during a pandemic was the first time we all experiencing. And by the way, there will be a pause within your season, and you have to learn as you go. And then every day you get tested, putting a swab up your nose. I would never ever say that something like that would happen. But if someone asked me if I wanted to, still, be the head coach of the University of Michigan with that as the plan, I would say yes.
With all those things that you just listed and all the of this season, do you even get I don't know if the word is surprise, but do you kind of look back at the success that you've had and say, wow, even that is a little bit impressive considering all of the things that you guys have had to deal with?
You know, with the success that we've had, and it's not like if you hear the word I say we, because it's not just myself. I first have to give the credit to the players for believing in me, believing in the vision, believing in the culture. When you have some guys that was, being recruited by Coach Beeline and the success that he's had, and then Coach Beeline left, and then you have a new guy to come in, don't know what the culture will be like now that, the new coach and first time head coach. And I have to give a lot of credit to a guy like Isaiah, also Austin and Eli. Those three, not saying that others don't matter, but those three, man, they have been supportive from day one. And I owe a lot to them. Then I have to give a lot of credit to our staff. Yes, I assembled all of them. I strategically thought that this would be the right group to work with, to learn from. They learning from me, I'm learning from them. Bring together a collective of wonderful ideas that we think that will work, to give us the best chance to win, to give our team an identity that we can feel that we can be a tough, competitive team. And then last but not least, I have to give credit to the support staff, and that's, Jay Smith, Lisa, Jerron, Chris Hunter, Tom, Alex, John Sanderson, Kayla, and then all our managers, and I couldn't have done it all. I couldn't have done it. And I couldn't have had any success if I didn't have all those people working with me. We working together to make this all work. That's where the success comes from. It's not just my success, it's our success.
Thank you.
Coach, next up for you is Shannon Ryan from the Chicago Tribune.
Yeah, I'm writing about a fellow Chicagoan and Lauren Foster. And I know I think you have a long relationship with her. I think your kids have worked out with her. I was just wondering if you could tell me a little about what she means to Chicago hoops. I think she's maybe one of those unsung people, and what, how you've gotten to know her over the years.
Wow. I shake my head because, Lauren Foster, and I call her Coach Foster, she's amazing, man. You have to get to understand her, because for some, she's misunderstood in a lot of ways because she can be a little edgy, and also her teaching is a little different than some may seem, as uncommon. But for me, I just find it to be, she's an innovator. She's a guru. She's a very compassionate individual when it comes to working with young men and women. And I've learned a lot about what her work ethic is all about and what her level of teaching is all about from the times when she worked with my boys. And then I've also asked her to work at my basketball camp in Chicago. And, like some would not like her tone. Some cannot understand Miss Foster because of, she could be a little rigid, but she cares about, all those kids in the city. She will work with anyone at any time, whether it's inside in a gym or outside on the playground. I've seen it from my own eyes, whether the weather is 85-degree weather, but it's hot on the outdoor basketball court, or if she's working in the snow with Namari Burnett in the wintertime. That goes to show you the type of passion that she shows as far as giving back to, our young men and women in the Chicago area. She's also worked with Mike Smith. Mike Smith, who's now, the point guard here at the University of Michigan. Mike played for her team, which is the small fry. And you can ask Mike Smith about Miss Foster. She's a great teacher of the game. And so personally, yes, as you can hear the excitement in my voice, the smile on my face, I love her. And I learned from her. And now she's a head coach at one of the suburban high school teams. And, I'm praying for her success. And I hope she and her team have a very fun, competitive year.
Coach, we're going to move to Andrew Kahn from M Live.
Juwan, Just asking for a update on Eli Brooks, if there is one.
Yes, Andrew, I'm sorry, I don't have an update for you right now. I haven't had a chance to speak to our trainer, Alex Wong. So after we finish this Zoom, I have some more media appointments, but I will definitely this afternoon lock in and hear what's the new update. Hopefully it's some great news, because I feel for Eli. I know how badly he really wants to be out there for his team. And, being a senior and with the Big Ten tournament coming up, every player want to be ready to play and compete in this tournament. And I know Eli is number one. He's one of the toughest competitors there is.
Thank you.
Coach, next up is Bob Wojnowski from the Detroit News.
Hey there, Juwan. I was interested, you just mentioned Mike Smith and the impact he's had. And what did you see in him immediately? Was it over a phone call? Was it in person? What did you see in him that you felt he could be this guy to in many ways lead the team?
Well, I saw the film of a lot of his games when he played for Columbia versus some really Power 5 conferences. And I saw that, Mike is skilled. He can shoot the ball extremely well, a high IQ ball player, and he also is a competitor. And last but not least, he has that Chicago DNA in him. So that right there was like, yeah, he'll be perfect for Michigan because of everything I just mentioned, and his personality, and just when you talk to him on the phone, you just understand that Mike has a high basketball IQ. He knows the game. He's passionate about the game, and Mike has stepped on campus, and each and every guy in our locker room, he's won their trust. He's also been one of those leaders in the locker room that people just enjoy being around because he's funny. He has a great personality, and he's just a joy to be around.
Coach, next up is Paul Meyerberg from the USA Today.
Hey, Juwan, good morning. I want to piggyback a bit on the good question Kareem had to start. I'm wondering if you could describe for me how your NBA career as a player and coach influenced the blueprint you brought to Michigan, and whether there was anything or any concepts you had that you quickly realized, okay, I need to alter this or address this because I can't use what I've used in the past to reach these kids or to develop talent or evaluate recruits.
Well, I think, having played this game ever since I was 6 years old, and then, each level of play that I've, competed on, I've always had, success of winning. And, when you have some success of winning and been around really good coaches that has, poured their time and effort in developing me, I've been able to reflect and become a student of the game. And now with the last 25 years of being in the NBA, I've been fortunate enough to be coached by great coaches, Hall of Fame coaches I'm speaking of, Larry Brown, Don Nelson, Doc Rivers is going to be in the Hall of Fame. Eric Spoelstra is going to be in the Hall of Fame. And then there's some other coaches that I did not mention that hasn't been in the Hall of Fame that are great coaches. So I've been able to, be, when my time has come, which I didn't know I was going to start coaching until I started playing for Nate McMillan, and I started getting that little bug in my bloodlines and my system, and just say, hey, this would be something I want to do as coach. I've implemented a lot of everything that I've learned from them into, being able to develop and teach these young men that I've been working with for the last 2 years. Not saying that everything that I've learned has been good. I've learned some things on what not to do too. So it's been a little bit of everything. But overall, I'm still growing, man, as a coach, and I'm going to continue to try to find ways to improve. And like I remember, like last year when I first got hired, I took a trip out to Florida State and just to sit back and go talk to Coach Leonard Hamilton. I played for him in Washington, and I've seen his success at the University of Miami, and then also I've seen his success over at Florida State. And he was one of the guys or mentors that has really helped me with my development, helping this transition. But I have a great guy who is in my corner. His desk, I'm sorry, is only a few meters away, and that's Coach Martelli, who've had 36, now 37 years in coaching in the college. That he's has a ton of experience that I'm learning a lot from him as well. So.
Thanks, Coach. Next up is John Borton from the Wolverine.
Hey, Coach, obviously you expressed some frustrations about yesterday. Do you think this week, not having to play until Friday, can help your team mentally as well as physically?
Well, preparation is big, and we're going to need to prep and get ready for, a very tough tournament that we are looking forward to playing more than just one game. Our first opponent, we don't know who we're going to be playing, but these 3 days is really going to help us with our preparation. Part of it too is, our guys who are banged up get a chance to rest their bodies to recover. We don't want to, be limping in a tournament. And, we have to first see what Eli's situation is going to be like, because we're really going to need him. He's a large part of this team's success. If you look at the plus and minus, I think Eli is like the leader in plus and minus in the Big Ten. That goes to show you, what type of impact he has on this team.
Next up is John Nio from the Detroit News.
Hey, Juwan, I just wonder what challenges you expect or concerns you might even have heading into sort of the bubble-like atmosphere here of tournament time. Do you know what to expect? And I guess, how do you approach that?
To be honest with you, I don't know what to expect. This will be my first one. Last year, our season got cut short. We were there in Indy, preparing for a game in a locker room, and when we heard that our game was canceled, I'm just praying that we have good health going into the tournament. And then I think if we have good health, we have a really good chance to be, a very, very, very competitive team.
In terms of logistics, do you have concerns though, or obviously there's a lot of planning that goes into this, but from your own perspective, what kinds of things are top of mind?
Well, I have to give Kevin Warren and his staff a lot of credit for how they've done a great job of making this regular season work during the pandemic. But as far as the tournament goes, I'm sure that they have a great handle and a great plan moving forward for all the Big Ten teams that will be there in Indianapolis. And we're going to learn as we go.
Coach, we have one last one for you. Jared Greenspan from the Michigan Daily. Jared?
Yeah, can you hear me? I think my Zoom crashed for a second. Okay, perfect. Hey, Juwan, I'm just sort of wondering, you're almost 2 full seasons into your tenure here. What sort of role has Sadi played along the way and helping you maybe in your transition into this head coaching spot?
Oh, he's played a great role. Sadi is a giver, man. And, he's been here longer than myself, Coach Howard Isley, and Phil Martelli. So, yes, he has a great, understanding and knowledge for the returning players. He also very familiar with a lot of the internal, relationships within, academic staff. He also, knows, a lot about, the school itself. And he's been a star in his role as far as doing a great job in assisting the staff, myself. He's a high character guy, man. And I'm just happy that, Sadi is on our side. He could have easily gone to any school, I'm sure, and joins, someone else's staff as assistant, or, at some point, he's going to definitely be a head coach in Division I basketball because, you know, his knowledge for the game and understanding of how to, you know, relate to players. But I'm just happy that he's on our side right now.
Coach, we appreciate your time. Have a wonderful afternoon.
Thank you. Y'all stay safe.
All right, folks, thank you. I will be in touch in a little bit to try to get players tomorrow or Wednesday for you guys. So thank you for hanging in there with me. It's been crazy. So I'll talk to y'all soon.
Thanks, Tom.